am here at JoeCo Blue Box and Black Box recorders, right? What they do is they record live into these rack spaces. This is one rack space right here, and it's 24 channels?
These are 24 channel and 64 channel multi-track recorders. And
So there's 64 channels in one rack space?
Yep. So the Matty and Dante format recorders can record up to 64 tracks. You just send it the audio, plug in a thumb drive, hit record, and each channel becomes a WAV file written directly to that drive.
Of course, they're all going to be starting from the same place, so you can just put them in any DAW and mix.
Exactly, yeah, you just got a file full of, or a drive full of files, and you can import them into any DAW you want. They're just broadcast WAV files.
And those files, how are they named?
So when you hit record, there'll be a folder for today's date, and then you see song 1, track 1, and up to 24 or 64.
So if you arrange your channels live the way you want them to be on your DAW, from 1 to 64, it'll just come up like that. You got the drums at the top, you got your guitars, and then
you can custom name your tracks, so it's a template, and every time you hit record, it'll say kick, snare, vocal.
Always put that on that channel and you're good.
Yeah, and if you use an iPad, there's a remote module that you can use to wirelessly communicate with it and control it and name all your songs and tracks from the iPad.
Yo, that sounds pretty revolutionary to me. And I mean, the crazy thing is you're recording to this.
Yeah. Now the blue box does something different that the black boxes don't do, in that it has a second USB interface to your computer, and it does both at the same time. So you can record to Pro Tools and then have a backup running on the thumb drive simultaneously.
Well, you know how I love Blue and Connection. Huh? 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 Yo, man, this is crazy. So are you recording right now, like everything that's going on?
We've got two systems here that are playing back. So this one's playing back 64 channels, this one's recording it. This one's playing back 24 channels, and this one's recording it. And they're all just doing it off of thumb drives.
So, you know, I've done live recordings before where you have a whole, like, semi-truck outside doing that. It would seem that you could do it in just a rack, just one rack with this kind of stuff.
All of those trucks also have these in their rack too, because they have the Pro Tools system as their primary recording, but they use this to save their bacon if something crashes. So
because this is going to be much more reliable than a Pro Tools rig, right?
The Grammys, major sporting events, all of those events that use those broadcast remote trucks also use these as their backup systems.
Yeah, that makes sense. The more hardware you have in your system, the more reliable it's going to be, and the less of a problem with system crashing you're going to have. Anytime you got a computer involved, it can crash. It doesn't matter what it is. If you're at Aftermath with Dr. Dre, or if you're in somebody's garage, there are crashes that happen. Nobody can change that. So don't feel bad if you're at your home studio and your computer's crashing. Everybody's computer crashes. Things like this are because of that. You keep everything in the hardware and you record to a flash drive, which is a solid state connection, so you don't have any spinning parts that can go bad and things like that. That's going to last longer. It's going to be more reliable. And when you're catching a performance live, you don't have another chance to get that. So that's when you need stuff like this. Would I be correct on that?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what they're for. They were originally designed for touring artists so that they could record all their performances and use them for live albums, or to archive all of the shows that they were playing. But we also do playback. So a lot of artists that use them as backing tracks that need a totally foolproof way that's not going to crash, you can add a license that adds the ability to sync it to timecode, to remote control it, to control it with MIDI, to set up a playlist of all the songs that are going to, so all of your horns and strings and backup vocals and other things that you don't have all those musicians for on stage, you could use this to play back those tracks, and you could have the musical director or the drummer or somebody on stage controlling it.
And then you're recording the entire show, the stuff that's from this and the stuff that's playing at the same time through another one of these.
You'd have to have two separate systems. One would be the playback system, the other one would be the recorder.
Yeah, but that still just sounds like a couple of racks. It sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same machine. You're just putting it in playback mode or recorder mode.
Yeah, because you don't want to be at the halftime show at, you know, the Super Bowl, and sorry guys, technical difficulties. It's yeah, at certain times we just can't have things like that happen, and this is for that. Wow. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you.